Hey everyone, Randy here with Academia Christi. Welcome to the Viri Christi Garden Vlog, episode 8. This the week of April 27th. Uh, we've gotten some snow here. It's become winter again here in the beginning of May, so the weather's a little back and forth. Pretty much been bringing things indoors, outdoors, shifting them around, trying to keep things alive through these cold spells. But hey, that's what you get in Pennsylvania. And by the way, be sure to find me on Locals at Academia Christi and join the community there as well. But without further ado, let's get started.
All right, so first, here in the bedroom are two little spearmint cuttings. Not looking great. I'm thinking about moving that somewhere else with maybe some better sun. The basil not looking like it's doing too bad. The tricumber and the dill, right now it's just a bicumber, I guess, as the second one growing there pretty nicely. Got our two dill right now growing in here. I guess we could also add a third of those because they look so good. It'd be definitely worth adding one more in there. And the cucumber, the first cucumber, the only one that survived the initial tricumber experiment. Unfortunately, I cut back just a little bit on water, and it was enough to start killing it. So let that be a lesson. But I think I brought it back. I think that bottom cucumber might even be pollinated. This newest top one, I don't know. I don't think it is, but we may have one. Here in the garage are new Bernie kind of houseplant or something that showed up randomly from somewhere else. Then our arugula and bib lettuce, mostly just arugula, that little bib lettuce in the middle, transplant from indoors. They're our largest of the arugula, and in fact was able to take one of the bottom leaves off that just to get it out of the dirt. It was always sagging in the dirt a little bit, so that was my first taste of arugula. Did not like it. Neither did the other person who tasted it with me. So we'll get to that other pot later when it's in its actual place. Here our aloe, growing as usual. A little moved out of the sun just because of having to shift everything around, shuffle it around, playing garden Tetris or something. Or a little aloe that I still didn't throw out, but I probably will. I don't really need any more pots at the moment, so it's not extremely necessary. Last final giant aloe here. Looks like it's, again, I think I mentioned stretching toward the sun a bit. Maybe I could turn it, but it does really favor that one side of the pot. And here are grape transplants that have been sitting in the garage all winter that don't look like they've done anything, and that weird thing in the bottom that looks like it actually almost died off. I'm not sure. Here now out on the porch, this little planter of parsley, cilantro, and dill, and still one corner of it left in the center. I think I might put some basil in the center. I don't know. Not the deepest of pots, maybe I don't know, maybe 8 inches, if that. The corners are a little deeper, so it'll be nice. These things, all these three looking like they are already enjoying it. I think they've only been in here, I guess they've maybe been in here 2 weeks at this point. This big planter, they haven't really really taken off yet. Just like that smaller planter. This, the parsley, the dill, and the 2 basils that were all hydroponic transplants. The basils being Genovese and that one there, the Italian, largely. I don't know. Hopefully they'll start taking off soon, because that should be a pot that they like. Spearmint from indoors, not looking very good. Outdoors, I don't know what's up with that. Can't really get. I had it indoors, I had it back outdoors. The chives looking just fine. I in fact cut those back a little bit because they have each have several little leaves or whatever you would call them. This parsley too is really loving being in this large pot, which I'm expecting all the herbs in that planter to be the same as that parsley down there. More parsley here. Should be transplanted out of there. I should get it out of there, put it in something bigger. Lemon balm. it's looking good now, but it actually started taking a turn for the worse. And a marjoram transplant from the hydroponic system. Probably going to stay in that pot a bit longer. I don't know, maybe I'll bring in something bigger. It is pretty nice. I'm hoping that it'll start really pushing up and getting some bigger leaves. I don't know, maybe marjoram doesn't get. I should look at other real plants of marjoram, see how big they get. Here, all our seed starting transplants of the parsley and marjoram, and those two little thyme that failed, sort of still alive, I'm not sure. Those transplants are all doing fantastic, I think. Parsley and the marjoram. They're the wild strawberries that are just outside on the porch here, and are good spearmint, or beautiful spearmint that was in the garage all winter, and then moved out here because it was hardier. Can basically sit wherever it wants. It's just massive now. And I also figure I would point out I found these wild strawberries just outside the indoor area where you see through the big glass window. Down where I got the other wild strawberries, actually. And they're growing very nicely here, and really right up against that cinder block, and also the house here. They really seem to, I think if they're the same, they do look a little bit different. Not sure what's up with that, but they do seem to like these corners of things. Now out to the actual outdoor plants, the true outdoor plants, the rhubarb and the mustard going around it in two rings, the old-fashioned and green wave on the outside. You can see there seems to be something living underneath the garden, but it doesn't seem to be eating, at least for now, anything planted here. But I think it's a chipmunk, probably. Because I think there was one living a little further behind this patch. And try to get him somewhere else, I suppose. Rhubarb looking quite lovely. As always. Probably, I don't know. I looked up when you can start harvesting that. I don't think it's quite time for me to start pulling some of those shoots out, but it's just so bushy. And then finally, this personal garden patch that I've gotten started. Like I said in the beginning, the weather has actually gotten pretty crappy again, so might be a little bit before I get back out, but luckily I have most of my important things growing indoors right now. But anywho, those are radishes you see there. Those little squares are all my celery, failed celery transplants, so I'll probably pull those out, plant some carrot seeds in there, and then I'll have the same thing on this side as there is on the other side, which we'll get to. In between those are onion transplants, which don't look amazing. I mean, maybe you know more than I do, and they don't look that bad to you, knowing that they were just transplanted outside. But now, getting a closer up view and looking at it closer for myself, there is new growth on all of those onions. So I think they took. On the other side, not the best shot. Sorry for my shoddy camera work. I must have been tired. Radishes and what will be celery, but I think all the radishes coming up really nicely. I'm not expecting the celery just yet, I suppose. Wait a little bit on that, but yeah, just as it is on the side, closer to where I was standing. The radishes coming up in nice big bundles. Definitely need cut back a little bit. Here are the indoor plants, what I was talking. Just outside that is where I was talking about the wild strawberries here. Not even sure where to start, but we'll start up with the marigolds on the rack, where everything now rearranged once more. Basils here, the Thai, Italian, and Genovese. Both of those marigolds and basils, I think, coming up pretty nicely. Not sure what the marigolds are supposed to look like. Nature's Edge cayenne peppers, Generation 2. Those are the only peppers that I've had fruit ripen so far. So we pulled some of those seeds and we popped them in here, and you can see a couple are coming up already. Here are rosemary hydro transplant and that little habanero that we've been working on too. Basil, which was a hydro transplant, actually cutting from one of those other basils, which is looking pretty lovely. Got two cayennes and the marjoram, top of the marjoram hydro transplant. all rooted in water and then stuck in those pots. Once they had roots, they're all looking pretty decent. We had those basils. We have our 2 old peppers, the cayenne and serrano, which droop every time I don't water them fast enough, but they come back. And then lastly, that rosemary, now looking amazing. We have these burpee tomatoes that I started. Most of their early girl and Roma and a beefsteak hybrid. And then these other tomatoes too, which are not looking great. The burpees are doing, I think they're doing okay. I'm not sure what's up with those other ones, if it's the starting mix I used or what. They don't look good. Zucchinis and cantaloupe there. The zucchinis are looking nice. A couple cantaloupe coming up too. That Marglobe tomato, not sure where to put it, but I want to give it a better spot. I think it likes that morning sun though, natural sun. Strawberries, also some jalapeno and cayenne pepper. I think those might have been the cayenne pepper, rooted in water cuttings. And we have our sage that we're in the seed starting units. But that serrano we're still nursing, probably a fail. All our lettuce here, it's looking pretty terrible, but waiting for it to, I guess, warm back up and then get another patch going so I can maybe transplant some of that out. I don't know how big it has to be. Probably a little bigger than that, but it looks pretty terrible. I might just have to start a whole new one. Our thyme there, our thyme that's actually looking decent. These are some new peppers. Haven't quite come up there. Actually the same things I planted before, the Bailey Pekin, the Hungarian Black, the Aleppo, and also Engelhots, because I forgot I had those. There's 3 spike lavender that are coming up. My peanut's going insane. I really need to transplant some of those at least. And 2 rosemary. And there's 2 of the chilies I was just mentioning that did come up, the Hungarian Black and the Aleppo. No luck with the Pekin, so we planted another one of those, planted another one of all of them, whatever. Those 2 looking lovely though, as always. California Wonder Pepper is probably some of the best peppers, maybe right now. Some of them looking better than others actually. There's a decent bit of yellowing and leaf drop going on. All of these have been fertilized recently, so I'm hoping that they're, I don't know what's up with that. Cucumbers over here, really I think the problem is these cucumbers, again, came up really nicely, but they're going to need some better light. I think lighting is my main issue right now, and especially whenever we're getting these really muggy and even colder days where there's no sun that I can get from the window, let alone, I mean, it would be nice to be able to just take them outside. Some of these things, most of the peppers can't take it. Those bonsai chilies looking cool, fish pepper and the 1 ring of fire. Nothing in the hydroponics, but it is cleaned and ready to go for our tomatoes. Zombie plants, not looking awesome. But again, once the bonsai chilies come out of there, I'm gonna plant more zombie plants in those little things, which are theirs. Pepper brand experiment, rearrange these. These are all the habaneros now. I think that was the earliest ones, the latest ones here in the back. And then the ones in the middle. 9th, I think, the 2nd, the 9th, and the 16th. So these are the 9th here on the left. And then here are the jalapenos from the experiment. That would be the 2nd in the middle, or 2nd in the front, that is. I'm not sure right now, just from looking at them here. I would say that it's probably the 9th in the middle and the 16th in the back. They're a little staggered, but they get switched around. So I'm doing my best, giving them all the same amount of light. Same here. Got our cayennes, earliest cayennes in the front. Those might be the latest cayennes there in the back. You might even be able to see on one of those cups what it says that I think they were the latest ones. And then these, the 9th cayennes from the 9th. That is March the 9th. Much different variety. Those are 4 different brands of peppers that I have. 3 different types of peppers, 4 different brands of each. Here are my poblanos and the anime chili in the smaller pot, the hydro transplants, the second go of the hydroponic peppers. They're looking a lot lankier. I don't know if that's good. They have flowers developing though. I'm gonna pop those off once they're a little bigger, once I can get to them a little easier. But that's a good sign, I suppose. They could probably use a good fertilize. And then those more jalapeno cuttings that were rooted in water. Here, my jalapenos that are rooting in water, you can see how massive those root systems are just from sitting in there. I really need to get those into actual pots. And my drying cayennes, which are actually drying nicely. Oh yeah, and I forgot my Hungarian yellow hot pepper, which is the other hydro transplant from the second go, but it was planted a little later, so it came out a little later. In a much bigger pot, taking a nice prominent spot, and there's the potatoes outside enjoying the outdoors now that I think they can just stay out there. Of course, it got cold, so now they're on the porch underneath it, a little more cozy. And one more jalapeno cutting sitting back here, just looking for nice spaces for lighting. And finally, our original hydro transplants. Here, the pot of 3 cayennes. You can maybe see the flowers forming there, the very top of the small one that we had to cut back. So that's pretty cool. Also, the medium-sized cayenne that we had to cut back, maybe cut back a little too far, but you can see again, after the fertilization a couple weeks ago, actually have some flowers opening up. So we may have a few more cayenne coming out of this pot here, because this is the only one of the 3 that actually fruited. And I believe it had about 8. We ate one of them, which is in a video that I will post once I have enough subscribers or viewers or whatever it is, whenever I feel it's sufficient. But I think we've had just four still hanging there. We had 3. It might have been 9. I think just 8 though. We did use one of those in my in a chili we made recently. I couldn't really taste it, but then I took it and I chopped it up into a bowl of chili myself, and it was much spicier then, but it was good. Got our 2 jalapeno pot here, which each have 1 jalapeno, and one has one small one started as well. They're looking okay. I'm really hoping that I can get those to flower a little more. Hoping to get all of them to flower a little more after the fertilizer. And now that some of these peppers are being picked off, you can see there my patchwork job on splinting up that branch, which is actually holding the most mature pepper, which I can't really tell, but it looks like it may just be ripening. But those looking pretty good. They can be picked anytime I wanted to. But anyway, that is it for now. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, join me on locals at Academia Christi, and I will see you later. Peace.